Steve, welcome. So today we're talking to my favorite clients, and I'd love you to introduce yourself. So even before we met, you built an amazing real SaaS product. Can you tell me about like what you did, a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, for sure. So I started Badger Maps about 13 years ago now in 2012. And what we do is we help field salespeople. Basically, we connect to their CRM systems with like a mapping and routing environment that then they can see all their customers in a map, build routes, schedule their day, understand what they should focus on, stuff like that.
Yeah. And for what I understand, like the tool is helping like sales leaders make their teams more efficient. So basically having more efficient routing, getting more data and closing more deals because you're using each salesman to the max or salesperson to the max.
Yeah, figuring out your day and kind of scheduling yourself geographically if you're a field salesperson is just an inefficiency. And it's the human mind. It's not a math problem that we're capable of doing well. And then we can kind of swag it. It's like, it's like calculus. You can kind of swag the area under a curve, but you're not really able to do it in your head. So we do the math with the computers and it makes them 20-ish% more efficient, which that greater efficiency translates into sales.
I'm curious, like, what were some of the problems you were facing at Badger Maps that made you want to work with me in the first place? Like, what were some of the things bothering you?
Well, I think for us, it's like a lot of times when you want interim expertise help with something, it's because you don't have a certain strength on your own team. And you and I were chatting, and I was like, oh, this guy knows a lot about some things that would pay for themselves if we were to fix them around here. And
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. And no one on the team knows how to do that. And so maybe I should have him do it. And so that's how we got started together.
Yeah. Like, tell us a little bit about how's it going? What are some of the problems that we've solved so far working together?
So we've set up a few motions to generate leads. I guess one of the first things we did was set up like an outbound LinkedIn motion, automated using software to do outreach. Knowing with any marketing project, there's a bunch of moving parts, right? There's understanding what technology you should leverage to do a certain thing. There's knowing that you should do that certain thing in the first place, right? So
Yeah.
I knew that LinkedIn outreach was a good idea and I knew that technology existed to do it, but I didn't know which one was going to be the best one for us to do. I didn't know how to set it up. No one on my team did. But it's one of these things in marketing, I think, especially you end up with a whole bunch of, hey, a long list of projects that you could do.
It's
But
impact.
there's no bottom to how many. The goal is to kind of stack rank them big based on what you think will have good results, and then get the projects going and get the plates spinning, right? And there were several things that I identified that you knew how to get the plate spinning, and no one on my team knew how to get the plate spinning, and so it made sense to bring you in to get it to spin. Now, since we've done that, I think once you're digging around, you start finding other things. You're like, oh well, I was just looking at the way you're doing your ads. Did you know there's a tool that does this and calculates this to make them more efficient and saves money or frees you? Well, you can either take the money, you can scrape those nickels off the table, or you can reinvest them in more ads. And my answer was, no, I didn't know that there was a piece of software that does that. How clever is the world to build one more piece
Yeah.
of software? And, there are 10,000 pieces of MarTech software, right? Like it's
Yeah.
impossible to, even an expert will some silo of them, right? And so, I think having expertise on what you're doing, what your processes are in different areas of your business, I guess that's the other thing we've done is I've brought you in with the team of people that are doing a certain motion and been like, hey, present to him what you're doing and see if he has any ideas. And I guess that was another thing that we did was you were looking at one of our motions on the email side and you're like, oh, did you know that you could validate your placement in inboxes with a piece of
Hmm.
software and that would
Yeah.
tell you if you should take this action or that action? And it's like, oh, no, I didn't know I could pay, $150 a month and have some piece of software do that smart thing. Great.
Yeah.
That would be very useful. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a lot of what an expert can do in an organization where we have experts in marketing in our organization, right? Like we have a whole team of marketers and some of them are fairly senior, but everyone kind of has their own lane. Everyone has things that they know how to do really well. Even if we have a process that's functioning really well, it doesn't mean that like you've been able to come in and identify, oh, well, here's maybe an opportunity to make it a little better or to make an improvement.
Yeah. And from the outside, that's been my perspective too. It's like tuning, problem solving and tuning. Like you have a lot of things that are running pretty well compared to most SaaS businesses. And then it's like, okay, how do we take this to, the top notch? What are the things that would add a 20% improvement to each one of these motions? Or is there a gap that just for whatever reason was never implemented that's going to actually make a big difference in terms of like long-term performance. So from my point of view, it's like a little bit like a tune-up.
Yeah. Well, and in some cases it was a jump start. Like you've taken some
Yeah.
things from, oh, you are not doing this at all, to other things. It's been like, oh, well, you guys are already doing this, doing it well, but maybe I can turn it 4 degrees to this part, 4 degrees to the left, and then throttle this up a little bit. And so, yeah, it kind of depends on the area, but that's what expertise does. It allows you to be an
Yeah.
expert.
And I'm curious, like, how would you describe the process of working together, working with me? How's that been for you and the team?
I think that more so than some other external experts I've worked with in the past, you've been able to insert yourself quickly and easily in terms of working with the team, just as another member of the team.
Great. Cool. And so if anyone sees this and they're kind of on the fence and they're thinking, should we work with Jean-Michel? Should we work with Rapid Product Growth? What would you tell them?
Well, I guess I would just say, unless you think you're perfect at everything you do, have this guy snoop around a little bit and take a few looks at what you're doing and ask you a few questions. And in my experience, at least, we pretty quickly found some areas where it was like, oh yeah, I know that I should be doing that. I'm not doing that. And you're like, oh, I totally know how to do that. I can set that right up. I'll literally have it done next week. And it's like, well, great. That sounds spectacular. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it I haven't even been involved with, right? I mean, you've worked with the team and it's happened. So it's just, from my perspective, and I'm always drinking out of a fire hose, right? Like I kind of make an introduction and then the thing is just now happening and I'm not really involved.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.